behalf of Epsilon Zeta again and the DSK committee, we would like to present this DSK to Claire McManus. You guys know what to do. Okay. You know what I'm speaking. See how this goes. Alright, so when I first met Claire, it wasn't through APO. She was my freshman year roommate. I contacted her, or me and my other roommate contacted her through Facebook, and you know, like, all good. But yeah, so when I first met Claire, she was moving into our dorm, and she was very shy and quiet, like I was. So I was like, okay, you gotta like figure out how to break out of your shell. And we actually were the same NRB overnighter, which by coincidence, it wasn't on purpose. And we were in separate groups, but that's actually where I met Kaylin there. And so during meals, I invited Claire over, and we all, you know, got together and became friends, and became the freshman 3. You're pal, you know what this is. But yeah, she's an amazing person to be around with once you get her out of her shell. Because I know with Claire, I enjoy our like karaoke sessions late at night, and also watching the quarterback episode with Lee after watching a sad movie. It's always a fun time. It's amazing to see how much she's grown as a leader. She's very shy and quiet and kind of an introvert, so to see her now as president of an organization is an amazing accomplishment. When she first told me she was running, I was very excited for her. Remembering everything that she has done as historian, FVP, and now recently co-chairing Service Day, I knew this was going to be great. She's going to be a great president. And now she's receiving this honor. I couldn't be more proud of her. So congratulations. You deserve this. And thank you for sticking with us all these years.
Okay, so hello again. I was super excited. Like when we told me all week I've known both and freaking out. Anyways. So when I met Claire, she was starting out her sophomore year just like me by pledging APO. And all I really knew about her at the time was that she lived up in Raps with Jules and Kay. Now that I'm lucky enough to have Claire as one of my closest friends, I know a few more things about her. I know that she will go to most, if not all, concerts, that she would prefer not to drive, but if you need her to, she always will. And she really takes time to pay attention to the people around her. All my favorite socks are gifts from Claire. I like added this in because I put my socks on them. I was like, I'm gonna wear my favorite socks, and I was like, oh my god, they're from Claire. But she's great. But anyways, but most importantly on that list, something else that I know about Claire now is that she is one of the most reliable and dedicated people I know, and this makes her an incredibly valuable brother that has continually kept our chapter running and growing. Early on, when I started to get to know Claire more and see her accomplish things in APO, I realized pretty quickly that no matter what task, Claire would get it done correctly and on time. She's not someone any brother would doubt the abilities of, as clearly seen through a chapter trusting her with multiple econ positions, such as historian, fellowship vice president, and now an incredibly deserving president in her last semester. A really good example of Claire's ability to take on responsibility and also step up, something else that she's done numerous times, was shown last fall with Service Day. I remember last spring, one day we were walking home, back because we live near each other. At the end of, we were walking back home, and she was telling me that she needed to take time and focus on her last really coursework heavy semester this fall. But when Service Day needed someone to step up as a co-chair, Claire was there. And stepping up to help out in such a big way, in that way, it's not surprising at all. It's just very much the Claire thing to do. Claire deserves a distinguished service key, in part because she is the embodiment of all 3 pillars. She's a quiet leader, she is a superb friend, and she also has done a lot for her service program as well. But she's never done it in a flashy way, but she is always impactful. Claire's always been there for our chapter without fail, and our chapter, and I know my life is my own personal everything has been better for the last 2.5 years because of it. So thank you so much, Claire, for everything you've done for us. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so you might see a similar trend with all of these So when I first met Claire, after our room talk, she bombarded me online with a bunch of text messages about her life and my life. And I was kind of confused about why I was being asked so many questions as a pledge, and why paragraphs were being typed to me by a person who I didn't know too well at the time. I thought that maybe she was trying to get a little, but in general, I feel like throughout that experience, I felt like she cared a lot about me and other people in general, even if she didn't know me very well as a pledge. And as I got to know Claire better throughout the years, it's really only been 2, I think, but I learned more and more that Claire really cares about people around her, and also doesn't hesitate to make that known to them. When I was away on co-op, she always messaged me from time to time, just checking up on how my job was going, or if I had seen the latest movie, and I felt like those little messages made me feel connected to RPI and made me excited to come back. And I think for me, it's not necessarily all of the big things that Claire's done, like being president or helping to manage service day. It's all the smaller things, like getting presents for people, like socks, or sending messages to people when they're away, that really stack up and make Claire an incredibly kind and caring person that makes her deserving of the DSK. So, thanks, Claire.
So I had like meetings and a quiz I forgot about this morning, so I don't have the same theme as everyone, so I'm going to change my speech a little. Yeah, which is great. It's good because I didn't actually like write down everything because I get nervous about that. So I guess I'm going to start off with when I first met Claire. It was in a chem lab when Claire was a chemie in the advanced chemistry lab, and her and Kaylin somehow convinced me to join this awful major. But I'm really, really thankful now, after 3 years of hating my major, to finally absolutely loving it, that she was there for that, and she got to sit through Kevin with us. But I have to say, well, I did love having Claire in chem lab, and like I thought she hated me because she was always glaring at Kevin, but he sat close enough to me where I thought she was glaring at me. One of my favorite memories of Claire, and something I thought about a lot when I was away, was when I finally managed to convince Claire to sit down with me in the union and watch We Bare Bears. Now, a lot of you might know that I love this show, and I also think that Claire is exactly like one of the characters, one of the bears, Ice Bear. I feel like Ice Bear is one of like the really important characters in the show that it also worked really well for me to describe why I know that Claire deserves this award, and why I feel like that all the chapter agrees with that. And I guess like one of the 3 similarities they have is that they're both strong, they're both silent, and they're both very sweet. So I guess the first thing I want to start off with is strong, and this is going to have a very similar structure to my last speech, because I do very strongly believe in LFS, leadership, friendship, and service, and strength is a very important characteristic of a leader. As a leader, Claire doesn't take anyone's shit. She doesn't take my shit, she doesn't take shit from anyone, and she doesn't let her people that she cares about take shit either. She's very, very protective, and she cares a lot about all of her friends, even though she doesn't always have to make it known out loud. It's like she has her own little invisible axe she's always swinging around like Ice Bear does. I highly recommend you watch this show. Contact for these visuals. But, yeah, she's a super strong person. I don't think I've ever seen Claire like super tilted. She's always chill, always like ready to like for the next day. And again, she's always ready to go on to the next thing. The next thing I guess we all know about Claire is that she is silent. And I think that really describes her as a friend. And I think that aside is one of the best qualities she has as a friend, because she's one of the best listeners I have ever met in my life. I don't think Claire can listen to all like 3,000 words per minute of my rambling, and she will always pick up the 3 most important words and respond to only those things and tell me in like 10 words or less why my 5-paragraph essay is stupid and I should just like get my head out of my ass and like this is actually what I should be thinking, and she's always right. She's a really great analytical mind, and she's also a really level-headed person who can always help me make some of the best decisions. And I think as a friend, a lot of us who are here who know her can like understand that and relate to that. Her silence doesn't mean that she isn't someone who can be a good friend who isn't there. She's such a great listener, and she's such a good speaker that she only needs a very small amount of words to say what she needs to. And finally, I guess, is service. And I think service comes out in Claire through her sweetness. She is such a sweet person. Yes, she's a very strong leader, and yes, she's very silent, but I think Claire is one of the most gentle people I've ever seen. She had a lot of plans her sophomore year. Then she helped take care of a hamster, and while she can sometimes act like she's abrasive, she's really not. She's really like a little softie, like a little Ice Bear. I think that her dedicated sweetness is again seen through her dedication to the service program. I think Claire has been at more service events than like I have ever seen like in my life. I know she's always at every Troy bike rescue, and I went to one and I saw rust and never went back. So I will say that Claire isn't fazed by like anything in any service event ever. Like she will go to everything. I don't think even if she's allergic to it, she will be there because she loves service so much. And I think that her dedication to the community and to APO in this chapter is like something that really where everyone can see her sweetness. Even if it's not in her words, it's in the actions she has. And so I guess this is like why I feel like she's really truly deserving of a DSK. Like she's made such a great impact on us. I've known her since freshman year, and I was terrified of her as a freshman, as I was of everyone. But she's really become one of my closest friends, and I'm really, really happy for her today.